G'day people, I'm Sharon and welcome. Today I want to talk to you about one-step buttonholes on Janome manual machines. I've previously done a video about the electronic and computerized machines, which I will link to up there. And those are the machines that have a lock stitch button on them, which is a button that looks like a target on the front of the machine. Just small, but a target. The manual machines are the ones that have sliders for the width and length. And in this case, I'm thinking in terms of a MyExcel 18W or a 5024 or a 5027. I'll try and link as many numbers as I can in the description. These ones work a little differently and they can often confuse people. So let's have a look at how it works on a MyExcel 18W. You'll notice up here, this is the things to do with buttonhole. So BH means buttonhole. It says it's going to do 1, which is the front part of the buttonhole first. It's going to work its way back to 2, across for 3, and down for 4. It's telling me to set my width between 4 and 6.5. I'm just going to go for the biggest one. And the length, it's telling me to put in the buttonhole area of the length stitch. So there's a picture of the buttonhole there. Everything to do with buttonholes on the front cover of the machine is in orange. Here's the foot for doing a buttonhole. There's a little R in there and you can see that's the foot. With these feet, when they're brand new, they're usually pretty hard to open. Hold the front and pull the back. Put a button into the foot and close the foot up around the button. The machine is going to work out what sized buttonhole to make for that button. The last thing I need to set here is to bring my stitch selector over to the buttonhole. Here's my buttonhole foot. The letter R is there, so I know when I lie it down it's going to lay down with the button at the back. It's going to go in that way. At the back of this foot there is a little button. I pull it towards me and that gets that one off. To put this one in, I have a down position where I generally sew, an up position where I would normally put my fabric under the machine, and if I pull hard enough I can make it go up further, and that makes it a lot easier for me to get the foot in there. And then I just drop the ankle onto the foot. I'm going to go off the button here for a moment because I want to show you another little trick. So put some fabric under your foot and roll through one stitch. Make sure you get to the take-up lever having the thread at the top again. Lift the foot and pull it through, and that will get your threads through the hole in the buttonhole foot. The final thing that I have to do before I start doing a buttonhole is connect the machine to the buttonhole foot. So I'm looking at this from the left end now. You'll see the black piece here is the bit for lifting the foot up and down. This piece here is my needle threader. But the bit that I actually want to look at is this white bit here. I'm going to pull that down, that lever, and that lever goes between the two pieces that slot out on the side of the buttonhole foot. We choose the buttonhole stitch. We have the lever down. We have the thread under the foot and out of the way, and we're ready to sew. It just sewed the front bar tack and now it's working its way up the left side. When it's gone far enough, that bumps into the bit at the back and the machine does its back bar tack. And then it comes forward. I'm watching where it gets to. When it's got as far forward as it needs to, I lift my needle to the top, lift the foot and take the fabric out the back. That one, I've got the zigzag a bit long, so there's too much room between those stitches. So I need to go a bit narrower or a bit shorter on the stitches. Now I've got a problem. If I start sewing again, let's see what happens. It's got stuck and it's trying to come forward, and it didn't come forward when we were doing the bit initially. So what's it doing? If you look up here on the machine, it says BH buttonhole reset. This machine never knows when it's finished a buttonhole. And so to tell it that it's finished, I need to move off the buttonhole to something else, which I've just done, and back to a buttonhole. And that has reset it, so it now knows that it's at the beginning of the next buttonhole. With the stitch length shorter, I got a nicer buttonhole, and in fact I must have used up some of the stitches here at the beginning. You can do as many practice ones as you like before you actually do anything on a real garment. So in fact I would recommend cutting that one open and making sure it's a good fit for the button, because whilst the machine knows how long that button is or how far across it is, it's got no idea how thick it is. And you may need to make that slightly bigger. How would we do that? If I was having trouble getting this button through the buttonhole, I would open the buttonhole foot out very slightly, because that is what the machine is using to work out its buttonhole. I've just made it longer. On the other hand, if this is a really thin button and it's going to pop undone, what I need to do is take a note of where that is, open the foot out and come back in a little bit smaller, and that will hopefully sort out the issue. So keep doing practice ones with the right amount of fabric, the right kind of fabric and the right interfacing that you've got on your garment. Do practice buttonholes until such point as you get the right one happening there. But every time you've finished one, you have to do this reset. You have to go off it. You hear the loud noise, that was all the reset happening, and then back onto the buttonhole again so that you can do another one. When it comes right down to it, the thing that most often goes wrong on manual buttonholes is that the machine does not realise when it has finished, and you need to reset by going off the stitch selector for buttonhole and then back onto it again in order to start the next one. I hope this has made you feel more confident about doing one-step buttonholes on your manual machine. See you next time.